thought we'd kick off this year. We're talking about a unique part of the Capitol. This is what they call the base isolator area. And if you can see behind us here, when they did the renovation of the Capitol, they realized that most of the Capitol was sitting on pillars and balls sitting on pillar like that. And if there was to be an earthquake, they assumed that the Capitol actually might fall in on itself. So they raised the whole Capitol up and filled them with these, what we like to call these little baby bumper pads, and they're base isolators. But in the event of an earthquake now, the Capitol will basically bounce and move. So they bring a lot of school students down here to kind of see what this is. So kind of just a unique fact about the Capitol where we spend a lot of our time up here. As I indicated, it's week 3. I think we're in day 18, 19, 19, something like that, of 45 days. Is somewhat of a sprint as well as a marathon up here. We're tracking now more than 100 bills through the Manufacturers Association. If you'd like to take a look at some of those bills, reach out to us at manufacturingutah.com, and we'll be able to add your list or your email to that list. You'll be able to get weekly updates. You'll also see this through our Friday 5 and through our manufacturing in the media and multiple other things that we send out during the week to be able to look at that. So I wanted to chat just briefly with Josh and say, this week things are really starting to heat up. You start to see some things that are moving. First couple of weeks is kind of posturing. What are the key issues we want to talk about? Where are we going to go? What's kind of coming to the surface? What are we seeing right now that we believe are going to be key issues for the session, and how was the week?
As Todd said, it's getting busier. Appropriations are wrapping up. Going back just a bit to what Todd said, also, if bills come up and come to your attention, please also reach out to us so we can make sure that we're tracking. But, a lot on workforce and kind of look back to you is one of the key issues. And I don't know if you want to add, Todd, but that's basically it.
Just clearly as workforce comes up, we talk a lot about education. I heard a presentation this morning on tech colleges and some of our smaller colleges, how they're working together to focus on things we like to call degrees with marketplace relevance. How do we find those key areas where we take students and get them through the system out into the employer and go to work? And so we're starting to focus a lot more on tech and certifications. Speaker of the House is very interested in that. So shout out to Speaker Schultz and helping us continue to find individuals that want to get into the workplace with technical degrees. So that's a key thing there. What other areas are we seeing?
There's a lot going on too with transportation infrastructure. The state, for probably many aren't aware of it, we're in the tens of billions of dollars on water infrastructure, on roads, transportation, highways. They're looking at air mobility as well as what are the critical infrastructures that we need to, one, to make sure the state continues to grow, that we can ensure that commerce still continues across the United States. And the legislature is doing a good job of trying to get in front of a lot of this. They'll continue to do so, but this is one of those decades of things that have been built. And now people are really saying, okay, what things need to be redone, what things need to be updated, and what else is new, and what do we need with new tech? Another big piece, energy. I spend a lot of my time on energy. Energy, the whole gambit. You've got things that are looking at really changing how renewable and projects are done. There's a lot of looking at large loads. So the state has an energy deficiency. The U.S. would say we have an energy deficiency, meaning both transportation and production. There are some bills that are looking at options to assure the state continues to grow economically with the right power and ability to transmit that power, all the while making sure we have a regulated utility that has very low costs, and we need to make sure that it remains a low-cost utility that is viable and healthy. That'll continue to go. Those will probably ramp up a lot. Water is another big piece. Water was very active last year, almost call it the energy of 2024, where this is the water of 2025. Seems to be lesser in that, hey, we're looking, where do we take and where do we put the water? It's really, how do we assure that we have the water for the future growth? And it seems to be moving in a good, positive path.
Kind of focusing in some areas, you've got water conservation. Correct. You got water storage and water development, including some projects looking at cloud seeding, reservoir, and then some other things looking at water rights and beneficial use. How is the water used and where do we get it going to? One of the last areas, Josh, is probably tax. Yeah, and we know the governor's put a lot of focus on removing the tax on Social Security. I think what we're going to probably see there, and correct me if I'm wrong, is probably going to raise the threshold on that so that more individuals will actually not pay tax on Social Security. It's a very large number to remove it entirely, but they're also looking at a way to potentially lower the rate on corporate income tax, which would be great for our companies as well. So certain things we're looking there on the tax front, and then obviously a way to continue to do some of those things. So that's kind of anything else you can think of that's coming up right now that is really big.
No, I think you covered the gambit. There's always a lot. We'll be here. We're up here, and we'll absolutely be making sure manufacturing continues to thrive and stay.
All right. So again, thanks for joining us for this version of UMA on the Hill. Again, if you're interested in taking a look at a lot of those different types of bills, get in touch with us. We can get you some data on that, and make sure you realize that what Utah makes Utah.